Uh, Lady Lotus, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? You know that's right. Ain't no weapon gonna form against me, and no sickness or disease shall prosper. These people are nuts. I can't believe what I just had to endure in order to get on here. They were telling me that some other application um, was taking over my camera, and I started unplugging stuff and everything because I haven't changed anything since the past 4 days of the recordings and everything that I've been doing. So when that I couldn't get on, that was actually bothering me, and I start unplugging stuff. So now I'm gonna take this opportunity. And when the rest of them come on here, it was Dawada. She just called me, so I'm gonna tell her to just back out and um and just go find the live feed on my page because this is ridiculous. Okay, let me see. Hold on. And I was trying to even use my cell phone um camera and couldn't even do that. And my cell phone is not even connected to my computer, so I couldn't understand why they was telling me I couldn't even use my mobile device. But nevertheless, no weapon should form against me, and no sickness or disease shall prosper. Greetings, Tanya, Queen, Aries. Peace and love back to you. Got started late, just now getting on because of some technical difficulty. YouTube messing with my feed, and so I got to call. What's her name? Let's see. Baba, and let her know that I'm actually on live. Greetings, delicate Liz. Yes, thank you for your patience. As you can see, with some technical difficulty with YouTube. I don't know what was going on, but it was very frustrating and aggravating. Okay, so if you back out and then go back to the page I'm on. Yeah, you'll see where it says live. Yeah, Lady Lotus is already here. Tanya, Queen Aries, and Delicate Liz. Oh, okay. Ugh. Okay, so just give me a few seconds because I was like unplugging stuff because it didn't make sense for them to say that my screen, my camera wasn't working. So I had to then make sure my is working. I don't know what's going on there. I hope it doesn't cause any issues. Oh, I turn it back on. Hmm. End it. Okay. Oh my goodness. Like I said, I'm grateful for you all's patience. And said no signal. Hmm. Wow. It's a lot of stuff going on and I don't understand it. Uh, Rama, you made it. Your sister is delicate. Yes, I really appreciate y'all's patience, but now, for some reason, the monitor's not working. Uh, and no signal, whatever that's supposed to mean. Let me see. Okay, so let me see. Not what we're going to do. I'm going to have to. It's, well, I'm trying to figure out. Hold on. Wait a minute. Ugh, I'm trying to be. Can you all still see me? Because I had to go to a different screen. Let me see if I can get this over to the monitor. Hmm. Well, try this again. And the camera's on. I guess I'm just gonna have to change some things around, figure out how to go back because I had everything set. I don't know why. This is unacceptable. Ain't duplicate. None of that's working. Mm-mm-mm. All right. Okay, so let me see if I can make this screen a little smaller so I can pull up my Word. Because the Divine Mother, she gave me such a beautiful message to open up with. And now I have to figure out since my monitor has gone out for some reason. And everything's still connected. No reason why that shouldn't be working. It's not getting no signal. And I don't know why. Okay, so I don't know if you all have ever had to deal with these type of issues, but I'm getting ready to see if I can make this screen smaller so I can fit at least the divine's message. But then I can't see the box. I can't see what you all. OneDrive isn't signed in, please. Okay. It's telling me one of my enter my password for Microsoft. Now let me find that. Just bear with me on just a little bit longer. For some reason now it's not my Microsoft password is. Hmm. Okay, well let's see if this is it. E password. Okay. So I think that might have been part of the problem. Microsoft couldn't access something. Let's see if it come on now. Ended. No signal. Okay, well, I'm not gonna prolong it any longer. I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm going to. It's like, you go through a lot and then you get like you mature in certain areas, but at the same time, you get to this level where you are mature and you expect for you to be able to handle situations with a sound mind, a clear mind, and a focused mind. But when all of a sudden, somebody throws in a whammy, I have to take that deep breath and, get myself back in order because I still have to represent the divine spirit in her teachings that she has invested in me for the past 16, 17 years. So I'm trying to be patient, but I have a very small tolerance when it comes to ignorance. So I see it as it is. I see it as ignorance. I just see it as, like this subject matter tonight, is very powerful. And I know they say we fight not against flesh and blood, but against powers and spiritual wickedness and rulers of darknesses and workers of iniquity. But guess what? Those spirits and those principalities and those powers are being housed in flesh and blood. They couldn't affect us the way that they affect us unless it was coming through somebody like us. So, I mean, if this was just like a Casper the Friendly Ghost type of thing, you know, I'm sure we'd be able to poof and be gone. But at the same time, when it's like people who have created these devices for their purpose of causing confusion and trying to place stumbling blocks and strongholds, I get aggravated, but I also know that I shall prevail. That I didn't give up. And I'm glad you all were patient enough to stick around and come and uh, be part of this. But now, the Divine Mother this morning, she gave me a powerful opening message. But every time I try to switch over, it changes my um, it covers up this camera. And so I have to try to figure out how to go about making this screen smaller so I can. Okay, well, there's something there. Tell me if you all, well, I can't even see your response. I was getting ready to ask you to tell me if you can see my, because I have like, wait a minute. At least until I be able to read um, our Divine Mother's opening message for this minute. Uh, uh, okay. Okay. So I can't see you all's responses right now because I had to minimize the screen, but hopefully you can still see me and hear me. Um, Maybe if one or two of you hit the thumbs up, that at least let me know that you can see me and hear me. Because there's only one, but there's supposed to be six of you all in the chat room. So utilize this time, one or two of you all, to hit the thumbs up button so I know that you can still see me after I had minimized. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so you all can see me. So I'm going to go on and open up with the Divine Mother's beautiful message that she had for us today. She had me start writing up on it this morning. My apple of my eye, the fruit of my eyes. Come into my divine embrace as I nurture you with your daily portion of my daily love in protection, provision, counsel, and comfort. Consume in the depth of your inter parts and my motherly nature that I bestow upon you, where I am the source of life, goodness, and the beauty. I am the supplier of abundance of all your needs, and righteous desires I shall grant. There are times when advancement in maturity of spirituality seems not to make sense to you. Like, at those times, come to me that I may grant you a peace and a sound mind. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. The energy source that I give unto you is immeasurable for insight and clarity of discrepancies. Wow. Sankofa, the vine that endures the test of time. Maintain a child within who is determined to win over stumbling blocks of disagreeable ones and of their sins. You are awakening to truth, eternity, in sincerity, spirit, and in truth, leaving the enemies aloof, strategically placed in your DNA victory that no weapon shall form against you, nor us, nor their sickness or disease shall prosper. As the tension becomes paramount between good and evil, ignorance and knowledge rooted in the worship of the phallic, it is of great significance to see and perceive the tactics of your enemies within and out, occupying your border space around you. Sent to perpetuate the seed of the woman's throne of wisdom and grace. The oppressor spent millenniums in distorting and whitewashing ancient of days feminine wisdom magic. But in the source of life, in her rod and scepter of life, protection, and omnipresent authority that overrules all self appointed authority by her self existence of her superiority. Remember that you are awakening and growing cosmic child of the elect, the seed of the free woman spirit of consciousness, and no longer of the bound woman, the gateway of the adversaries, of their church and state, no longer up for debate. It is in your nature to feel tensions among your ascensions with the opportunity to make wise decisions. Above that, we think we know based on what someone has told you what to think without the Ancient of Days evidence and divine relevance. Unto what we have yet to learn. When you come to seek me with all your heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit, I will be fond of you and turn away your captivity of indoctrinated captivity of the mind. I can give you what your mind needs to elevate and expand your senses of self and your awareness of your free, bountiful life. Our everlasting, eternal parent spirit gifts to us are of the offerings of blissful and bountiful life, growing into her reflection as one of her attributes. Victory over self inflicted and enemies' agenda abuse means letting go of the workings of our controlled minds by artificial intelligence that programs fear out of confusion and delusion and illusion. Give them to her as the apples of her eye, and she will replace those old habits with far more productive and helpful ones. Each time you bring your negative thoughts and feelings to her, she's already perceived and granted us victory. The more you will receive the blessings of unlimited love upon your minds and body and spirit, reserving your soul for blessings untold and unknown. Then these new attributes without dispute will take root and support and supplement those that are no longer welcome and ready for the refining fire. This is your time, my children, to become fully alive in divine spirit of sincerity, spirit, and in truth. My children, step forward in faithfulness and come into your divine mother's holy presence and receive her loving embrace. Blessings rest and from wrestling. She will pour out her spirit into you and over you, around you, before you. This is her promise to us. Now it is to us to receive and to receive the faithfulness, what she needs for us to live abundantly. May her peace be with us. Wow. And just imagine, this is what she spoke this morning. And remember what I just dealt with tonight. Mm-mm-mm. And that's not to mention how it's even a confirmation to you what you might experience today. But the divine spirit, she already knows in advance exactly what it is that we need to hear for that encouragement and that upliftment and that reminder that she's omnipresent and she's our protector, our provider, our counselor, and our wonderful comforter in times of needs, unseen and unseen dangers, the seen and unseen knowledge that we may be partakers of and speakers of and beneficiaries of, and her seen and unseen counsel that we can continue to acknowledge her in all that we do, that she may continuously ordain our steps accordingly. And that is just amazing. It's just amazing. So today's subject is in reference to um, the aspirant test. So forewarned is forearmed. So we just finished a 4 day series on me sharing my apostasy behavior corrected. So now, for those who have followed suit, maybe you had the opportunity to pray and release any or one, two, or if not all of the strongholds that you were able to see in your own life. I know it's a process, but there's also a process of learning, and you must first hear the teachings and the counsel of the divine spirit, and then that way you be prepared for when these challenges or these tests come our way. Because that's one thing that the adversary um, does not approve of is for the same people that they're trying to keep blind, deaf, and dumb, is to all of a sudden start to awaken and see, to start to hear and understand, and to start speaking those things that are in existence as if they were, knowing that there's a law and a principle that's going to allow us to bear fruit in its season when we apply to multiply. So, the first thing, and for me to lay the platform, I'm going to start off with a parable, put things in perspective. Uh, Once there was a man, or it could have been a woman, who went out to sow grain. As they had scattered the seed in the field, some of it fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Now, some of it fell on rocky ground where there was little soil, and the seeds soon sprouted because the soil wasn't deep enough. But when the sun came up, it burned the young plants. And because the roots had not grown deep enough, the plants soon dried up. Now, some of the seeds fell among those bushes, which grew up and choked the plants. But some seeds fell in good soil, and the plants bore grain. Now, some had 100 grains, others 60 grains, and others 30. Now, the purpose of that parable, now, when you're actually speaking in parables, is actually a language that only the remnant can hear and understand. That's the reason why most people ask, why do you speak in parables? Because the message isn't for everyone, only those who have ears to hear and understand, and eyes to see and perceive, with a heart with the intentions of receiving in order to bear fruit in and out of season as they continuously apply to multiply. But I will share an insight of the purpose of the parables as well. So when people ask also, why do you speak in parables? The knowledge about the secrets of the kingdom, which will be the monarch of integrity of the city of peace, has been given to us, but not to them. For the person who has something will be given more, and so that they will have more than enough. But the person who has nothing will have taken away from him even the little that he has. The reason that also we use parables in talking to us, to one another, that we look, that the enemy may look but not see, that they may listen but not really truly hear and understand. So the prophecies that were written before time among the originators, the sibyls, um, as we find in our major prophets, as well as the, let me see, there's called major, and then you have your prophets, applies to them as well. So these people will listen and listen but not understand, and they will look and but not see because their minds are dull and they have stopped up their ears. They have closed their eyes, otherwise their eyes will see and their ears will hear and their minds will understand. And they would turn to the Divine Mother and they would be able to be healed. As for them, as for us, how fortunate we are. Our eyes see and our ears hear. And we are assured that we may have those. I assure you that many prophets and many disciples of the divine destiny and purified legacy, people wanted very much to see what we see, and they could not, and to hear what we hear, but they did not. So I'm going to explain the parable, reason why these um, tests are about to come to separate the wheat from the tares. Listen in and learn what the parable of the sower actually means. Because you have allegories and you have symbology and you have mythology. But when the divine spirit comes, she leads and guides us to all truth, and that she continues to awaken and advance our ability to hear and understand and see and perceive with a heart that is not hardened but is receptive. So, those who hear the message about the monarch of integrity, governed by the divine cosmic mother of the universe, but do not understand it, are like the seeds that fell along the path. Now, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in them. The seeds that fell on rocky ground stand for those who receive the message and gladly as soon as they hear it, but it does not sink deep into them simply because they don't last long. Or so when trouble or persecution comes because of the message, they give up at once. The seeds that fell among the thorn bushes stand for those who hear the message, but the worries about this life and the love for riches choke the message, and they don't bear fruit. And the seed sown in the good soil stands for those who hear the message and understand to understand it. They there bear fruits, and some much as 100, others 60, and others 30. So that is the meaning of the parable. And according to the divine's ways that are higher than our ways, and her thoughts that are higher than our thoughts, she utilized the parables to at least get us in the same mind and spirit of her desires and what her purpose is within us and for us. And to understand why some people receive it and others people don't. Because of the curves of this world can separate a person from maturity and wisdom because they choose to follow or chase the wind. But see, the beauty of it all is to know that whatever you sacrifice that you've gained in this world system, you would, because you sacrifice it, you would get 2 or 3 times more than what you had. But that's the whole purpose of the story of Job. No matter what type of suffering you had, as long as you stayed faithful, steadfast, and focused, the divine is going to make sure to take care of all of our needs. Okay, so the first on my list to share with you all in reference to these tests that are about to come. The first one on the list. Now, before I get started, let me see if I can open up my screen so I can see if anybody. has any questions or anything that they want to bring forward. Because, see, like I said, I had to minimize my screen, so I can't actually see what's going on in the chat room, but I can now. So I'm gonna look to see if anybody had any questions. Or let's see. Delicate Liz, I am not feeling good at all. Depression overload. I don't understand why I'm feeling this way. I woke up happy. Okay. No one but my man. Hmm. Delicate Liz takes sea salt bath with 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. It reduces some negative stress. Thank you, Sisterhood, in the chat room, for giving your counsel among our sister and daughter, Delicate Lace, in reference to dealing with depression. You said you woke up this morning feeling good, Delicate Lace. And the only person that you've been around is your man. Well, I wish there was a way that I could like get you on the screen to come in and actually share your concerns. But I'm not. I don't see that type of option on this YouTube. Um, so as people are responding to you, in reference to depression, that's one of the um, tests that we have to endure. But these tests are not to actually devour us, they are to empower us, because forewarned is forearmed. Now, if you woke up in a good mood, but then throughout the day and the only person you've been around is your man, then it sounds like to me that the man may have some unequally yoked energy that will cause you to alter your way of thinking and your way of conducting, or not conducting, but maintaining your serenity of the mind that you woke up with this morning. Now everything happens for a reason, and I don't know why the screen keep popping in and out like this. Let me see. Okay, maybe that's what the problem is. Well, see, that's Bahava. You said, can we do call-ins at Mama Lena's? I don't. I still haven't seen an option for any call-ins. No, at bringing somebody in via video. I haven't seen that. Um, and so I don't want to assume anything, but I have requested if anybody has done a live program, if you already know how to go about um, telling me how to add the call-ins or to add the screen for other people to come in and chat on the screen. I'm open to learn, so we all can work and build and encourage one another to make sure your voices be heard. But at this present time, I personally don't know of any tools on how to activate call-ins, let alone adding somebody else in the video. Um, Anya, Queen Aries, can I call you soon? I got your number from the other video, Mama. Oh yes, feel free to give me a call. Yes. I'm pretty much, if I don't answer the phone, that means I might be busy because sometimes I be in like the public and I don't necessarily like to talk on the phone in public, especially if I'm doing my radio program or at a doctor's office or in a grocery store, because I get a little annoyed when people be having these loud conversations. I personally don't want to hear your conversation. And especially when people are using foul language and all that kind of stuff. So I have to be the example of what it is that I want to see. So I don't necessarily use my phone or talk on it like when I'm driving or if I'm in a public eye, but I will respond to you eventually when I get in um, a more peaceful arena. So yeah, feel free, Tanya, Queen Aries, delicate lace. So, as you all can see, she's dealing with some depression, and hopefully, when we go through this list, um, she would be empowered. But it's like I can deliver the word, I can deliver the counsel, but it's entirely up to the individual that they receive it and they apply it, because that's the only way you can be fruitful. It's just like the tale of the sawyer. When you plant the seed, it can fall on stony ground, or it can fall on shallow ground, or it can fall on among bushes and thorns and things. But you want to be able to receive whatever the counsel that the divine spirit of wisdom gives us, whether whoever it comes through, as we are her reflection to be um, aspirants and open vessels that we can help one another by her spirit that dwelleth in us. So I want to see peace in your life, delicate lace. I want to see you being happy because this is happy times. Just to know that we're about to rise up out of being at the bottom, and these things, they're coming to attack us, but we've been at the bottom so long and have endured so much. It's supposed to make you stronger because what doesn't kill you is supposed to make you stronger. So, it's like you might have been weak at one time, but the divine awakening brings forth strength. You might have been fearful at one time, but the divine mother brings fearlessness. You might have been complacent, but the divine spirit, she brings a zeal. So whatever opposite of what we're accustomed to, that truth that she brings is supposed to empower up and uplift us, and then we can have the opportunity to apply it and multiply it. So Delicate Lady says, yes, I agree. I have a lot to look forward to. Yes, you do. Mwah. And let it land right there. Okay. And you're among kindred spirits, so where one might not have the right words, one of us does. So just be open to the sisters. There was supposed to have been a brother in here. I guess he hasn't made it yet, but nevertheless. So I'm about to go over power. Basically, the first major spiritual test that we will have to endure as aspirant of truth, the divine mother's truth, is the issue of power. Now, the lesson here is either not owning it enough, recognize the power that we actually have, or it could be when we get the power, letting it go to our head, because there's a lot of egos and prides and arrogance when people get in a position where that Proverbs that says um, to master. Um, yeah, to have control over others is, you can master it, but having control over yourself is true power. So just understanding and knowing that you make the decisions in your life, and the universe is there to confirm and help you um, achieve the desires of your heart, especially when they're lining up with the will of the divine spirit. Um, but due to the fact that some of us doesn't necessarily have that relationship, a lot of people still are benefit from a lot of things that they desire, but when time to sacrifice and release it in order to gain true power, then they won't release the power over materialistic things or even other people. um, and that just shows that they have a lot to learn, and they don't understand the true gift of power and what it's actually meant for. Because power should be empowered to empower others and not of yourself, because we're all connected. We're all connected. We have the same divine eternal parent. There's only one sun in the sky that shines upon us all. There's one moon that gives the lesser light in the night. And when it rains on the just as well as the unjust. The rain doesn't skip over those who are either rich or poor, because the divine spirit has a law and a principle that when it rains, it's to nurture all of us, because we're all her children. It's just our own decisions and our own desires is what separate us from the true full goodness of the divine spirit. So welcome, Sybil. I'm glad to see you made it. Thank you for being here. You said I'm late, but I'm here. Yay. My love, hope, all is feeling great and empowered. Yes, great. I'm so not materialistic. I'm just now upgrading myself. And first time person in a smart TV. Uh, yeah, my family used to always call me primitive because I only just received my first what do you call it? A cell phone that wasn't a flip phone, maybe 3 years ago. And I still prefer my flip phone. And I noticed in T-Mobile that they're actually bringing the flip phone back, because so many people are complaining about the hip call or the booty call. When you put it in your purse, like how it just calls people automatically, and all that kind of crazy stuff. So they actually had in T-Mobile, they actually brought back the flip phone. Okay, so anyway, and let me not get distracted, but I am have to look over there periodically and see if anybody's asking any questions. But let me move on. So we're the first one that we're asking is the power. So personal power is the fundamental first key to psychological health. And that's the reason why we have to have a transferring and the renewing of our mind. Um, so we're transferring from a worldly realm. As a matter of fact, and I can sum it up, like when I asked the divine spirit, what is this strange and new experience that I'm feeling? And the spirit spoke to me and said, now you have received not the spirit of the world, but the spirit which is of the glory of divinity, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which the divine mothering spirit of wisdom teacheth, to know the things that are freely given to us. Once again, not in the words of man's wisdom, self appointed wisdom, but which the divine spirit. to know those things that are freely given to us, and that we can tell the difference between those things that are of spirits and those things that are spiritual. So I immediately got like this divine revelation when it said that the spirit was going to teach me those things that the world could not teach me. It was like basically saying it doesn't matter how much money you might spend on education, whether scholarships, diplomas, or degrees. When a person spends money on education and don't even know how to use free common sense, it's all in vain. Because common sense was the first eye of understanding of the mind of communication with the divine. Because in the beginning there was no colleges and trade schools and this, that, and the other. All we had to have was a humble heart and an open mind for communication. But when man creates his own world, he creates his own standards, just like they create standards of beauty, but it's all in the behind the eyes of the beholder. Nevertheless, the idea to own it all the time in considerate manner, never wavering. Just recognize that this is a birthright, that we have been given power, even though it was suppressed and oppressed, because we have been guided by the educational system of the oppressors, and their agenda is not to allow us to have the type of information that will empower us, that we will excel, because they already know what we're capable of doing. Reason why they has so much falsehood trying to cover up who we really are and what we're capable of doing as a people. And it doesn't take, but just the power of the same, a few that can come together with the same mind, same purpose, same goal, can produce the same destiny and the same legacy. And that's what they fear. It's just like that proverb that says, no, it's not a proverb. It's actually what one of their own people said, that they fear not when sheep are leading lions, but what it is that they fear is lions leading sheep. Okay, so since they fear not um, sheep leading lions, they actually indoctrinate the sheep. They train the sheep, because in all actuality, you don't train people. You teach and you allow themselves to be elevated based on the connection that they make within. And then sometimes they like to make the same decisions that their parents made as far as the gift that they have been given. But nevertheless, they train them, they indoctrinate them. It's kind of like, was it you, Delicate Lace? You had mentioned something, because I was watching Dr. Moonby, and you were saying, I think it was you. If not, it was might have been Alice Little. But anyway, somebody mentioned somebody when I said, um, when an old person pass away, the village would mourn. The whole village would mourn, because it's just like a library had just been burned to the ground. And then you mentioned somebody's name, and I didn't make that connection. But then I actually saw it this morning. Who was? Wait a minute, Alex Little. Now I can't pronounce that name. I can pronounce Joseph the third, but I can't pronounce the map angle, mapango, or something to that nature. And yeah, he said the exact same thing. But see, I have 3 pages of African proverbs that I printed out. So I actually known mine since at least 2017 because I like to utilize that because I also um, make like PowerPoint videos. But I came across the one that you were talking about because I actually responded on one of those um, what's her name? Dr. Moonby programs. And I remember that's the guy, but I didn't know his name. So Map Tango or something. Yes, Dr. Moonby Saraki. Yes, the brother was real. Yes. Now I find myself looking, trying to find, some up to date because, he used to be a Christian pastor, but he got that awakening, and now he doesn't preach per se, but he utilizes the knowledge that he has, for the purpose of awakening for those who are still in bondage into that religious dogmas and indoctrination. And I just like how he speak. I like how he speak, how he define things. He's very powerful. And I caught myself even today saying, now, I would like to have somebody like that as a brother or even a mentor, because the spirit was telling me I need a mentor. I prefer a female mentor. Somebody talking like Mr. Joseph, um, I can actually sit and listen to him, and we can actually communicate. We can have conversations, and I believe they would be very powerful. But I did say today, this morning, that I would love for him to be like a brother to me. Okay, so let's see if we're very dignified and sound. Yeah, I love his tone and his tune as well. Yeah. So the ideal is to own it all the time in a considerate manner, never wavering. It is through owning our personal power, the self mastery over our energies take place. So it's a process, but we must own it. Even if we only see like a small portion of it being manifested, just to know that we can day on a daily basis, I have power. I have power. I am powerful. I am more powerful. As a matter of fact, on my radio program, a part of my intro is that part was like, I got the power. There's this female. There was a song back in the 90s, I think, and it was like, I got the power. So right after she says that, that's when I open up my message because the divine spirit is empowering us, that we may accomplish all things that we need to do. So, in through owning and owning our personal power, the self time, the self mastery over our energies can take place. So, when either our own power are given to other people and our subconscious minds, rather negative ego, inner child thoughts, emotions, desires, and physical body is affected about how we can perceive and understand the power that we now have. So, on the other side of this coin, one must have power, but not to the repression of the aspect of oneself for just self. There must be the proper balance between the masculine and the feminine sides as well. So they must work together as in a beautiful dance. And the real test of power comes when a person moves into leadership. So, do they use their power in services totally of the anointed consciousness and love, or does it become a manipulated power by the negative ego to control others? And under a patriarchal male dominant society, that's exactly what it is that we're dealing with and have dealt with and will continue to deal with until womb with a womb, is back in her rightful place, exercising her mind of wisdom. So I actually also have a list. The divine is giving me some a powerful list of what happens, what the world is like, and it's a confirmation because we can actually see it when men are in leadership alone without balance of the feminine and her counsel on the side because of her divine emotions and her sagacity of her wisdom and her intuition and her basically her truth and her wisdom, her humility and her self sacrifice, her compassion, her free will, her fairness, her helpfulness, her courage, and her modesty and insight. The list goes on and on and on. But on the flip side of that, there's a masculine when he stands alone, and even in his belief when it comes to religion, he says that the woman is supposed to be his helpmate. But yet, given opportunity to exercise that truth, he becomes the dominant one because of his ego and his pride. And that produces greed, falsehood, ignorance, arrogance, anger, harm, and injustice, materialism, envy, folly, and impatience, insolence, and aggression, and iniquity, access, deceit, delusion, hero worship, selfishness, callousness, provocation, treachery, warmongering, chaos, and the list goes on and on and on. So when you have balance, when there's equally yoked, let's see, I can't remember. Oh, they mounted mourn for a day, then they celebrate for a week, the Passover. Okay, I guess that's a conversation that's not mine because I don't even understand that. Okay, so anyway, so that's the problem is how many spiritual teachers and gurus in essence does the power of over others and leadership they have gone to their heads. So it is how many spiritual teachers and guru channels and psychics fail the first most fundamental test of one of the tests is to see if you treat people exactly the same as you did before you got power you now hold. So that's the position that the divine spirit is calling her cosmic elect will put us in leadership positions. So that means leadership is like a powerful platform. So that means to be forewarned is to be forearmed, that you understand what the purpose of the divine giving us power and leadership and put in a proper position for her purpose, that we do not get distracted and we do not become prideful and arrogant, displaying these type of behaviors that is for the one thing that she's uprooting and pulling down and overthrowing. And we, as her daughters, the reflection of her wisdom, we it's important that we truly understand and know ourselves so we can display the divine ability to bring forth peace in the midst of chaos. So power is going to be distributed, but let us stay focused on what that power is for, to empower others. You know, not to empower ourselves, but to empower others. but there will be opposing spirits that will come as a test to see if we will sacrifice or will we stand firm and let every man be a liar and the divine's word and her purpose be true. Is there any questions? Any comments? Anything you want to add to an understanding that we are given power? Because women are the leaders, we are the mothers of all nations. We birth the nations, the children that are to grow up to be nation builders. And we're not having to be contenders because we've already have a birthright of leadership. So before this, we were followers instead of leaders. Before this, we were borrowers instead of lenders. Before this, we were below instead of above, but the divine mother has flipped the script now. So now we are leaders and not the followers. We are lenders but not the borrowers. We are above and not beneath. So we must display that, own it, apply it, and as we speak it, believe it, own it, and just do it. Okay, let me see. Oh, Alice Little. I found out like a year ago that the term equally yoked isn't even in the Bible. A yoke is tool for bondage, so unequally yoked is in the Bible, but not equally yoked. Yeah, that's what I said. When I was speaking in reference to delicate lace, it's the word is unequally yoked. I never even looked for equally yoked. I never heard of equally yoked, but nevertheless, you're correct. As far as I know, in the Bible, it says unequally yoked. But I never heard of equally yoked. Okay. We back at. Oh, I missed the 11:11. Alex Little. No mentors, Mama Linus Adasa. It means to torment the mind. What? What are you talking about, Baramna Baba? No mentors. Mentors, Mama Lioness Hadassah. It means to torment the mind. Okay, so you're going to have to define that one for me because when I say mentor, it's like somebody who's on the same conscious level with me that I can actually have an empowering conversation. So I don't mean somebody who's going to lead me when the divine spirit has me to be the leader, but at the same time, I have to be able to recognize the leadership in others because I don't know it all and I will not pretend to know it all. So I have to be humble enough to listen to somebody else because I'm going to be learning something from them as well as they learn something from me. Now, I don't know about the mentor, if it's like I don't know how somebody else may define it, but nevertheless, that's what it means to me. But I know that we're have to come up with these word lists so we can reestablish the energy that's going to be empowering for us. But where something might be pronounced wrong, the purpose is to have the right definition because you can say anything, but what's in your mind and what it is that you're striving for in order to accomplish is what matters. But I'm open to listen about how to redefine mentor, but my definition won't change. Because that's what it means to me. And that's what it means when the divine spirit told me that she's sending me a mentor. So, but you can define it for me. Let's see. Alice Little, I found out the word. Okay. Oh, no mentors. Oh, so Alice Little, I found out that the word mentor came out of Rome too and had pedophilic ties. Okay. But like I said, my meaning doesn't change. So you all can send me information about what it is that you're speaking of but and I'll find another word. Well, I'll look to the Ancient of Days from my ancestors to find out how they defined iron sharpening iron, basically. But I know they didn't use the word iron sharpen iron. But then again, they might have. But um, I can actually probably look up in my one of my oh, mm, my African cultural books, because those books have plenty of different cultures in it. Or I can just Google and look for under Swahili, what's the word for mentor? Or I can use the Akan language. I can use I forgot how you pronounce it, the language that they was using in Black Panther. Um, but when the divine spirit spoke it through my mouth and explained to me what that was, she has priority and seniority. So her definition is what sticks with me. But as communicating among sisters and brothers, as far as a language and a word is concerned, I don't have a problem looking for um, a cultural word for it, but the definition's going to stay the same because that's what it is that I need, and that's what it is that the spirit told me I have to have in my life at this present time. Okay, let's see. Um, no, let's see. Found out like a year ago the term equally. Okay, we did that one already. He appears very dignified. Oh, I must be going backwards. There are still a few cases of this phenomenon in India. Uh, if a woman was in her purest state with a thoroughly alkaline body, she could produce a child without a degenerate female. Without a degenerate female, the story of the Virgin Mary is symbolic of that. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's called, oh, it's in my book, my cosmic book, because this planet was supposed to be all female at one point before she decided to bring forth the masculine energy through man or men. And she was quite disappointed that she actually created them because their mind was up on well, what one might call evil at all times. Um, but it's called something like, yeah, that's it, the pathogenics, because I was just talking about that to somebody. Um, okay, so yeah, it's called pathrogenesis. So among mammals, even among humans, papyrogenesis is not technically impossible. Every female egg contains a polar body with a complete set of chromosomes. The polar body and the egg, if united, could form a daughter embryo. In fact, ovum and cyst are unfertilized eggs that have joined with their polar bodies and been implanted in the ovaries wall and started to develop there. So this is not to say that males are unnecessarily, I mean, it's not a necessary sex or gender. Pathogenesis is a cloning process and sexual reproduction, which enhances the variety health of the gene pool, is necessary for the kind of complex evolution that has produced the human species. So the point being made here is simply that when it comes to the two sexes, one of us has been around here a lot longer than the other. which we already know the female is always going to be here first. And even through her nature in reference to when their science says that all embryos starts off as female first. So and actually women, especially the African women of the garden, the cosmic garden, the land of Eden, true Eden, um, the divines in this book also says that we didn't even have periods, and there's still like me personally. I can just use my own body as an example. I've only had one period in my life, and I can't even. Well, it's kind of like ironically, I can call it a period because it was only like one, two, three little dots. I never had like a full fledged what women say they get cramps and they have what they call heavy flows and stuff like that. And when I was 15 years old, when I had my one and only period, um, and then I wound up with a hysterectomy at 18. Now, if I would have known what I know today, I would have been fighting those surgeons in reference to cutting out my fallopian tubes and my ovaries. Um, but mine was a life death situation. I had abscesses on my ovaries, the size of grapefruits, and they told me if I don't have the surgery, if they erupt inside of me, it could kill me. So I let them do. I mean, to me, it really didn't mean anything to me. I was grateful that I gave birth to my one child. So and then I did have a miscarriage before all this happened. So I'm blessed to have at least reproduced at least once in my lifetime. Um, but anyway, okay. So the next, I'm so upset that I can't utilize my monitor because the divine spirit, she went through a lot preparing me for this lesson, and I was supposed to have been able to utilize my um okay, take that out, save changes, save. Oh, what is this? Okay. Okay, so Mama Lioness Hadassah, it doesn't take from this divine teachings. Um, um, oh, you mean me not being able to utilize my monitor? But there's so much more that I wanted to implement that was supposed to be on the monitor where I can just look at it and just remind myself to go to it. Actually, I have it. What I wanted to, I actually have them written, but that book that I have that I created, like this big binder of how the spirit has given me a list of the actual ancient meanings of symbology of different words that they put in the Bible and what they're actually truly meant to our Sybil ancestors when they wrote the prophecies and everything. So I really wanted to utilize that. Now I can get up and um, get it, but it'll be sitting right here and it's like so huge. Um, but anyway, so the next, I still have to get it because this next word, focus, is about money. Okay. Yeah, see, this is so big. This is what I put it put together of what the spirit and uh, it's given me over the years. And that page is not in here, so that means it's been. But I had it on my computer. Yeah, I gotta go over this. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, okay. Where is it? It's supposed to be. No, I'm not gonna be able to see. Let's see. Ah, just hopefully you all can hear me. Okay. You're not gonna be able to. Well, I'm not gonna be able to. Let's see. To see your comments until I actually um, read this, because the next um, word is money. And we're talking about the test of temptations. So after power, we have to be aware of money. So that made me reach back in my notes to find what the spirit revealed to me. As a matter of fact, I can do a whole series. Um, Probably take about 3 hours to go through the full teachings about money. But nevertheless, money is basically. Can you all see me? Because I can't see your comments. I can see my reflection, so I think you all should be able to see me. But money is basically like an old deception, um, and it's like the complete opposite of utilizing wisdom. It's the complete opposite of wisdom, compassion, generosity, cooperation, and justice, because it would greatly reduce the presence of effectiveness of good deeds and character, and increases greed, increases falsehood, increases injustice. So the primary concept of that permits evil and evil things to prosper and flourish, while good things struggle and suffer and language. I mean, it's based on the mathematical application of greed and arrogance and vanity. The divine spirit didn't create money, man created money for the purpose of divide and conquer. So those who have money would be more of an elite and a focus. And those who do not have the money, they become enslaved and they become workers for those who don't. Um, so the world's economic systems are organized upon this strong lie. So there is a truth in reference to where the Bible says money is the root of all evil. Money has been a blessing, in maintaining the system within our own homes, because, even though the divine has given us the free will, I mean, not free will, has given us access to everything that we need in simplicity. like the food is supposed to be free, the air is supposed to be free from impurities so we can breathe in and out. The water is supposed to be free. Um, Anything and everything that we need for our wellness, the divine supplies that through nature freely. Um, but then when you man decides that he wants to create his own world, his own society, or his so-called so-called civilization, then his true nature is revealed. Um, but nevertheless, the combination of debt-based money, compound interest, which the Bible actually speaks against what they call usury, is a double whammy. And reserve banking, which is the greatest and the biggest deception and fraud, creates like a mathematical treadmill and an endless loop and guarantees the existence of poverty and suffering and despair and the national debts of all nations. Throw in the Federal Reserve System, the natural central bank, then you basically have an international banking and a consolidation of primary industries and both money and religion and politics. And you have a superb trap, monopolization. The New World Order was conceived by and is controlled by the Vatican and the secret societies and their cohorts through the secret control of all money and the manipulation of politics and politicians utilizing their what do you call those people? Those lobbyists. They literally pay politicians to pass bills that doesn't benefit the consumer, but those who actually have the manufacturing and the corporations. Um, because it's kind of like that commercial back in the day where they speak of, oh, give it to Mikey. Mikey eat anything. Well, he's just a consumer. And it's like they just put little baits and dangle it in front of our eyes with the manipulation of the media and the tell lie visions and everything else. And the next thing you know, we're desiring things that is not has no divine relevance in our life, but and then they create a system where you can't live with it or without it. I mean, you can't live without it because if you have a home, then that means you have electricity. If you have a home, you have water. If you have a home, then you need food because you got a refrigerator. If you have a home, so everything that they create is to basically make you a consumer and to continuate and perpetuate the need of something that was actually is non and void in the sight of the divine, because that's the reason why one of the prophecies is about for that calls forth those who have no money but still need food. Follow the divine spirit. If you have no bread, come to the spirit because she will feed you. That's why I like Psalms 23 as well, because she will provide a table in the presence of our enemies, a table of counsel and a table of nourishment, you know. So the Vatican and its secret society coerce through their secret control of all money and manipulation of politics and politicians. To better understand the nature of money, it is crucial to understand that the Babylonian priesthood that created money and banking also created Baal and the great red dragon, aka so-called Lucifer and Satan. By using our worshiping money, you are worshiping and enriching those who serve the great lie, symbolized as the bottomless pit or strong lie, and mystery Babylon and usury and so on and so forth. So the next great test of the spiritual path is that of dealing with money. Each of these tests, is, each of these tests is like a false idol in a metaphysical sense. The key question is whether light work the remnant will put the true presence of glory of unity always first. So, and put these other lesser these idols that they have created on the altar of sacrifice. So, this is the true test of self realized being, how attached we are to money. And I am amazed to see that the aspirant through the eyes of our ancestors who are very much of consciousness, except if you cross them over money, their anointed so-called consciousness goes right out the window. So it is like they are of consciousness as long as you are paying them as a client fee. This is not true spirituality. That's money, religion, and politics. Religion has become business. Politics is about controlling business, whether it's religion or politics. Excuse me. So, what happens to us when someone rips us off over some money? I've had experience like that before. Like one time, I gave a woman who was asking for some financial help in the streets, and I didn't have anyone, so I gave her something. And she was telling me the whole story about, that she needs some food and, she just want to get cleaned up and this, that, and the other. But as soon as I put that money in her hand, the truth immediately came out. She said, when she looked and saw what I put in her hand, she's like, oh, 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 and now I can go give me a real hit. He ripped me up. He ripped me off. He gave me some bad drugs or something. She was saying. I was like, because that I had to um, get myself in check because it was almost like I was ready to experience that emotion over again. It was like, no, that was so long ago, and I'm so over that. Even though I was getting ready to use it. Um, as an example, I don't have to get all caught up in the emotional part of it. But I just basically, after I gave her a piece of my mind, I said, I'm not giving no more homeless people no money like that. And for years, I would not give them nothing. I was like, no, because that's it. But, one apple is not supposed to spoil the bunch. But I'm glad that I woke up out of that rut, and not allow other people to suffer because of somebody else's ignorance and their mistakes or whatever. So now I look forward to being able to help, and I don't get bent out of shape. If somebody ripped me off, it's like the divine spirit spoke to me the first time I was in a homeless shelter, and somebody stole my coat. I was really upset because it was cold outside, and I was like, I couldn't believe that somebody just stole my coat. And the spirit, she already knows our thoughts before we think of our words, before we speak of our down sitting, our upstanding, when we're at work and when we're at play. And she know the emotions that we feel, and so she spoke through my mouth and basically said, well, the individual must have needed it more than I did. And I was okay with that, because I had a different way of looking at it, a different way, a different perspective. when the spirit said, well, the person obviously needed it more than you did. And don't you know, in 2 days, I was able to receive a sewing machine because I actually made the one somebody stole. That's another reason why I couldn't understand why somebody would steal it, because I made it, you know. Uh, but anyways, so the spirit, when I was in the homeless shelter, was able. I received a sewing machine, a brand new sewing machine. And I'm not sure if it was one of the people who worked there bought it for me, but it was just the one of those cute little dressmaker ones, like what you start your daughters off with to teach them how to sew. And then I had enough money on my card, and I went and bought some fabric. As a matter of fact, I have the one that I made um, when somebody stole my now when I first made it, it didn't have a it didn't have I didn't have this part sewn up. I didn't have that part sewn up, and then I made like a little hoodie thing, and it wrapped around like a scarf. And this is like, it's like clouds with my little fringes on it, and it's so warm and cuddly. And I enjoyed this one better than the one that they actually stole. So okay, so uh, so we must be aware. Well, we must be aware that what happens to us when someone rips us off, of money or something that we might consider valuable, how to respond. So I'm not saying that money is not important, for it is in this present time of eternity when it comes to the system that we're presently living under. Um, but basically it's not however more important than the glory of divinity, and for that divine consciousness that is going to take in order for us to make wrongs right. So if all of our money and material possessions were stripped away, how would you respond? Would you retain your faith and righteousness in the divine spirit? Many of those um, these tests that I will be going over um, basically, um, well, they all kind of work simultaneously together. And when a remnant worker of light and truth, or even non-work light workers, move into the position of having a lot of money, the key question is, does your personality change? Whew. And now I know you all have some witnesses and evidence of people that they get a little something, something, then all of a sudden their whole demeanor, their whole character, their whole personality just change. You know, they be simple, and then overnight they become bougie. Um, so, um, do you still treat people in the same loving manner? And how do you look at people who do not have any money? Do you judge them or love them as you would the reflection of yourself as a image or reflection of the glory of divinity as her vessels to utilize for a divine purpose? Um, and the ascended masters of those who were able to master themselves and have the tongue and the actions and deeds of the learned. So if we don't, then the negative ego's interpretation of money has a hold on us. So and the more we understand the simplicity of the divine spirit of how she started this world, this garden off, we won't find any peace and happiness and serenity as a cosmic garden as a whole until we return back to the golden age when everything was in its purest form and people just enjoyed the nature and the natural order of things, and they didn't even know what a bill was. Cause I mean, I look forward to them kind of days when you ain't got to pay no bill, but whatever you need is going to be freely accessible, and you don't have to worry about um, the haves and the have-nots because we'll all have access, to the divine. So yeah, so money will come, but make sure that our consciousness and our deeds and our purpose are stay in line with the will of the divine spirit in reference to being able to be continuously fruitful and then not allow the fruit to take control when we're supposed to have control over the fruit. So also, the divine wants every person to have abundant amount of money, because like when we're going through the process of awakening others or helping others to see and perceive, so they can get on a level at least like their first fruit, first foot forward for victory. Knowledge is power. So if excuse me, if oh wait a minute, I meant to pull that down so I can see. Okay, great question. Mama Lion said you're muffled. Oh, am I? Does our character change? Am I still muffled? Barama Baba? You said I'm muffled. Oh, now. Hmm. Well, see, now first they were messing with my camera. Now it's brought to my attention the mic. What about now? Do I still sound muffled? Do I still sound muffled? Baramana, Baramna, Baba. Because I don't even have my external mic plugged in. Hmm. Ooh, excuse me. I yawn with my mouth wide open. So am I still muffled? Okay, I guess not. Let me see. Let me see if I missed out. Okay, here's a highlighted one. Alex Little says, it's muffled and breaking up bad. Really? Um, Delicate Lace, you love sewing? Yes, I still got a brand new brother sewing machine, still in the box, and I've had it back there for almost 2 years and still haven't found time to actually take it out of the box and make any clothes. I make a lot of my clothes, and I haven't been able to do any of that for the past 2 or 3 years, probably longer than that. Oh, okay. Thank you, Alice Little. So I'm not muffled now, so you all can hear me loud and clear. Well, that's good to know. Okay, so continue on. It's 11:53. Let me see. We started. Well, we was definitely late. So we've been on an hour and 46 minutes. I'm gonna go to 2 hours, so that gives me another 15 minutes. This will be another sequence. Look, it's like you all are seeing me more now than you seen me in the process of trying to be on the Lance Curve. And that's the reason why I truly believe why the mother was telling me, to start focusing on um, my own platform, so I can actually be able. Knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is freedom. Master Fundi Fundi fee. Yeah. Ooh. So do you read Teo? Alex Little. I like the Teo as well. I got the one with that has like the 3 or 4 different versions. Like there's one statement, but it'll go across 3 or 4 different interpretations. Check the times for our comments. Some comments are 6 or 7 minutes old. Oh, okay. Well, I was I'm sure I missed a lot, especially when I was going over the lesson. And I'm gonna have to finish this one now, as far as the money is concerned, because somebody did say, "Good question. Will we change?" And that's entirely up to your free will as an answer, you know. But it is not good to be poor. Being poor is a product of negative ego, poverty, consciousness programming, and there is no judgment in being poor, but our divine, everlasting, eternal parent um, uh, does not want any of us poor. How can we be poor when there's so much abundant of everything that we need? It's just poor comes when people feel like they can take ownership over something that doesn't even belong to them. Mm, 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 mm. The reason why is so all these millionaires can give their money and lives to help those in need. That's what they should be doing. But what does having a lot of money do to your personality? And how does this dovetail with the issues of power? Um, we would pass or fail on the spiritual path with such issues if we don't address them. Close to me. I am in Chicago. Um, this, I have not read Tai yet. Oh, Master Fundy is a master in Tai Chi and has a YouTube channel. Oh yeah, I have videos for Tai Chi. Um, the Teo is actually speaking of the Divine Mother, but from an Asian perspective. Let's see. Hope to meet up with her as soon as my back is better. Lady Lotus, Mariana, Georgia. Okay. You are just having, okay. So I would like to share let's see. Okay. So basically, how does this, um, the issue of power and the issue of money coincide together? And will it change us? And will we lose our focus? Not the remnant, because if it was possible, they would be able to fool and deceive and have a stronghold on the very elect, if it was possible. But us being the very elect, we're supposed to be able to take counsel, apply it so we can multiply it. So that's the beautiful thing of a divine awakening. We awakening with the type of counsel that is not uh, available to everyone, because it depends on your heart. The divine spirit look upon the heart, and not the outward appearance, and nor even the present status, because the divine spirit is quicker to use somebody who struggles in life than one that who thinks they got it all already. It's kind of like knowing that some people, when they get to a certain age, that they can't be taught anything, and they think they know it all already. And those type of people actually close the door to themselves, because if you think you know everything, then you ain't got room for anything. So, okay. So, today we made it through power and money. I think I got one more. I can go through fame. Give me. Oh, yeah, and I made this necklace and earring set with the feathers and stuff in my little ankh in the middle. I made this like maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and I finally put it on again today. You all like that? I love to be creative. I make a lot of my like I said, my clothes and my jewelry. It's just that the divine spirit's been utilizing my time to be focused on what's important now. So I just utilize what I have. It's amazing how I can just go and stuff. And I was like, wow, I haven't wore that in a long time, like 5, 6, 7 years. So it actually matched my shirt. And so I decided that I was going to put it on today. Thank you, Lady Lotus. Thank you. Okay, so fame. The next great test is fame of the spiritual path, is the issue of fame. Like, due to the fact that the divine is nameless, with that understanding, as she revealed to me, because you name things, people, places, and things. But to name the divine omnipotent, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniferous, omnicompetent, infinite, intelligent one, other than what she allows for me to acknowledge her as our everlasting, eternal parent, naming is also like gives you the ability to define. Now, how can you define um, a spirit that is unconquerable, unmeasurable, indisputable, comprehensible, but yet undefeatable? I mean, um, you can't touch, but only through, if the spirit dwells in somebody else. You can't see, um, because of the omnipresence of, and we don't have those type of eyes. We'd be lucky to have 20/20 vision. As a matter of fact, I love how the divine revealed to me one day. Like how people say that um, well, men say that they're made in the image of God, but at the same time, that's when they're looking in chapter 2 instead of chapter 1. And if they actually read it with eyes that can see and perceive, and ears that truly hear and understand, they would be able to recognize that there's a masculine and a feminine image made out of the divine creatress, creator. But the beautiful thing is when one day, when the spirit set me down one day, and she told me, like, well, you're made out of my image, but you're not in the image of me. Because she says, now take me for example. I have eyes, I have spiritual eyes that can see all things, whether high or low, depth or width. I see all things. You're made out of my image, but you have imminent image. Vision. Because you be lucky to see 2020. I was like, wow, mommy. That is so true. It's like, and I have to wear glasses, so even my eyes are not perfect in reference to the accuracy of being made in the that image of the divine spirit to see all things. And then she told me, well, I have ears and I can hear the prayers and the thoughts of all. But you all would be lucky to be able to hear the request of a poor man standing on a corner just asking for a coin or a dollar, or hearing somebody saying that they need help, or they're in the need of this, that, and the other, something that is tangible among you at all times. Once again, mommy knows best. So then she says, I have a mouth that I can speak um, all things into existence. You have a mouth that you can speak, but you have to be careful of the words you speak because they can either make you or break you. She said, I have hands that I can touch the sky and overlook the dome of the stars, or I can touch a mountain and make it melt, or I can measure the ocean by the handfuls, or take to measure the soil of the cup, the soil of the earth in a cup. But you'd be doing good if you can take a hold of somebody's hand and just hold it and let them feel what acknowledgement of their presence really means. So, yes, we're made out of the image of the divine spirit. We're just not made in the image of the divine spirit. There is a difference. So, with the understanding that the next great test of spiritual path is the issues of fame, the three great tests of power, money, and fame are all of connected. So the question here is, what happens to the personality, our personality of fame and worldly recognition is achieved? And how does this change the personality? Does one start treating others differently? Does one start treating others like lower class citizens? Does the fame go to their head and just inflate one's ego? How does one use the fame? For self glory or as an opportunity to be greater service? Does the fame allow for us an opening of negative ego? The problem with the earth life is most people who move into fame and worldly recognitions are not equipped psychologically to deal with it. This applies to both earthly personage as great as many of the spiritual aspirants among us. So we often are highly developed spiritually or physically, but not as developed psychologically in terms of having control over the negative ego. So the inner child desires and body and emotional body and the likes. They key with all these tests is to remain exactly the same as you were before power, money, and fame were achieved. So these blessings from our everlasting parent should be used for her purposes, and know that they are the loan. If they are misused, they will be taken away. For the Divine Mother giveth, and the Divine Mother has the power and authority to take it away. And that kind of goes to one of the verses that I read in reference to if a good man um, has been doing good all his life, then all of a sudden he turns and starts doing evil. The good that he does will not help him because his last leg was to do evil, and will be judged accordingly. Um, so it's like we were chosen to be enlightened, to receive the awakening gift of the blessing to be used as one of the cosmic elect, based on what we don't have. And because of that inner nature of being able to be taught, led, prepared, and critiqued, we're not supposed to change that innocence and that nurturing and that humility and that attitude of I just want to please our everlasting parent and do her will. Then all of a sudden we get like this money, fame, and power, and then we just change. No, the Divine Mother wants you to stay that selected elect that she chose without it. And it's kind of like being able to recognize, you know, what it's like to be able to receive, like Solomon in the Bible. He didn't ask for fame and money and all of that. He asked for wisdom so he would know how to govern his people and judge accordingly. Because even I have a habit, like if I ever get to the point where you would put me in a position of power and I have to deal with money, I don't want that responsibility. It's not that I would spend it foolishly. It's just that I don't even want to deal with that headache. Somebody has to be better equipped to deal with money matters. And I just don't want to be the one dealing with money matters. I just prefer to just make sure it's being used wisely and appropriately, but I don't want to have to deal with distributing it or anything of that. I would prefer to have somebody in my life that can deal with that, so I can just stay focused on the Divine Mother's will and just make and execute it according to what a way that would please our everlasting parent, Mother Source, and Father Force. So, therefore, so we can like highly develop spiritually and physically, but not develop psychologically. And that's the reason why in this process that we're going through, that we continuously seek the divine's counsel on a daily basis, guidance and her protection, and she would use various avenues to teach us. And sometimes it would take a physical situation for us to learn a lesson, and not necessarily something we can read in a book or overhear somebody else speaking or somebody else is teaching. Some just look at yourself, examine yourself, and recognize which the best way for you to learn something. Some people can learn by just reading something because their comprehension is that good. Some people need to touch and see what it is of the subject matter. And then there's some people who have to combine the two. So the divine knows which what will work best for all of us as individual in our own unique, in our own essence. So just be open to recognize what works best for you. And then just to know that the divine spirit will send a teaching in that way where you can, in a simplified way, receive it. So the key with all these tests is to remain exactly the same as we were before we received this coming power, this coming money, and this coming fame. And the spirit did tell me to enjoy it while we can, because she's also showed me in prophecy that she's going to take away everything that we have become accustomed to depend upon, so we can depend on her and understand, make that connection with the universe to know that all of our needs will be supplied. And then even she utilizes um, like the platform situation with Job. Like the adversary was in the midst of Job, and the spirit had to tell him what his limitations was when he attacked Job. You can do anything you want to him, but you can't touch his life. So even the adversary has to get permission from the divine spirit to do even his job or its job or whatever the case may be. Um, but at the same time, we just have to come to the conclusion and know that whatever we lose, the divine will give us double for our trouble. And sometimes we do lose loved ones in the process, but the divine had already revealed to me that we spiritual family is the long lasting family. Because we might come in the womb together, but that don't necessarily mean we will flock together. So I look forward to um, being able to receive my spiritual sisters and brothers, spiritual mothers and fathers, and um, all that it takes to raise a child in a village, as well as maintaining to the maturity of that child, but even in a grown body, that we may be able to accomplish and magnify and edify one another um, in its critiqueness of getting to that level to receive our crown chakras. So let me see if anybody had any questions. Thank you for the invite. So that's Yes, the story of his discernment in the Bible with the babies was excellent. I believe it was Solomon. Oh, you talking about when the two women, one of the babies died, and the other one, whose baby who actually died, it actually the one that was still living belonged to the other mother, and so he used his wisdom to see which one would actually speak up and say, "Well, I would give it to let her have it," even though she knew it was her baby, because she didn't want to see the baby torn in half and split in two, to just to prove a point. So that's what you're talking about. Alex Jones, that story in the Bible with Solomon who had to make the wise decision in order to find out whose a child it exactly was. Some say that God is the devil because God created all things. What are your thoughts on that? Oh, um, well, let me put it to you this way. I use my own experience. One day I was reading the book and I come across a verse that says, um, God created light and create darkness. Spirit says, I create good and I create evil. Now, when I saw it was saying that God, where the glory of divinity created evil, I literally threw my Bible across the room because I was so angry and that somebody, whoever wrote this Bible, had the audacity, because the Spirit had already started revealing to me, the translations, interpretations, the deceptive writings, and this, that, and the other. So I thought what I was reading was actually a lie that the enemy inserted in the Bible. And then the divine spirit allowed me to go through all these different emotions. And then all of a sudden, when I finally got my bearings made, then the divine spirit had to reveal to me that yes, I created light and I create darkness. I create good and I create evil. The purpose of creating good, the opposite of good, is like if everything was perfect, how can one learn? How can one achieve the ability to make a decision if everything was one sided? Now, there is a difference of creating evil for the purpose of teaching purposes, but not to take up on that character. That's what the divine spirit was revealing to me, that we're not supposed to be able to take on the character. We're supposed to learn of the character, be aware of the character, but not allow the character to be within, but acknowledge it from the outside like an observer, a person that can learn and see the signs that will shine a light on if it's an agreeable spirit or a disagreeable spirit. But it literally took people to come into our ancestors' presence because they were so accustomed to being so hospitable to any and everybody, that they didn't have laws for disagreeable spirits. They learned of it, but nobody housed it. So when the adversary comes in with this disagreeable spirit, they still had a life and mentality, a way of thinking to be hospitable, compassionate, helpful, and all of this. But eventually after a while, no matter how positive they were always constantly receiving the opposite to their goodness. They awarded them with evil. So then this is the reason why man started to now need laws, not because of laws that needed to be made. As a matter of fact, let me see this. I like how Divine had given it to me. Wow. Oh, no. Yeah. I still got this hangnail. I'd be so glad. I'm about to snatch it off. I have had to snatch them off before. Um, oh, man. Oh, wait. Okay, so must be over there. But anyway, basically, um, they had to create a law for the purpose of governing these disagreeable spirits, because that wasn't part of the character of our ancestors. So now they make unjust laws in order to cap our own, but then at the same time, we had to make laws so they didn't capture our own with that type of mentality. So my thing is, the divine spirit is not evil. The divine spirit is a teacher, and she's a counselor, and things have to exist in order for people to actually get the clarity and the lesson that needs to be taught. So, for somebody to say that the divine spirit is evil, um, that's just out of ignorance to me, because they really don't truly understand the concept of the divine spirit. Just because you create something, I created, I sold that coat. But does that make me a master seamstress just because I made a coat? No, that wouldn't even sell in the store, because it's not perfect enough to fit the consumer status or category. It's just that when I make something, it's good enough for me, but I haven't made anything that would be accepted from a consumer perspective, except for maybe somebody who's like without anything who would still something, but no, just because I sew doesn't make me a seamstress. So just because the divine spirit created evil does not make her evil. So, period. Okay, so let's see. I need this engagement. It's spiritual nutrition. And thank you for asking the questions, because this gives me an opportunity to see what the divine put in me is still there. And then sometimes the questions, I mean the answers, are something that I'm hearing for the first time. So just as well as you all are learning, I'm learning too. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Let's see. Uh, Dr. John Henry Clark teaches they created purgatory to install fear in us. Yeah, yeah. Now I have some teachings on purgatory. Uh, and I think that might be in here. Because I took out a lot of I took out a lot of the pages because I was setting up, getting ready for the class that we're having right now. Um, so let's see, Purst. Ooh, I'm so hungry. Purgatory. It's in my word list. A place of temporary punishment and correction, though anything short of eternity is temporary. Planet Earth is just such a purgatory. The bars and the boundaries are formed by the bad deeds and resulting to bad karma of its inhabitants, who were exiled to planet Earth from among the stars for past transgressions. The nature of planet Earth's captivity keeps people here in tribulation to burn off their bad karma and to eventually gain wisdom and understanding so they can finally rejoin the living among the stars. Salvation and redemption from purgatory involves growing wise and turning away from past folly and transgression. So it's like, to me, basically, it's like saying that our planet Earth is like boot camp, but you go through the process and you get your awards, and your degrees and your office right here on Earth for the purpose of subduing and having dominion, not in a how do they say it, like a dominion, like you take control and you destroy the earth, like how the people translated in the Bible. Their whole thing is about stealing, killing, and destroying. But when the divine tells you to have dominion over something, it's basically telling you to recognize your responsibility and you'll be held accountable based on the decisions you make. If you're destroying what she created as a beautiful garden, or are you adding to its beauty by being present in mind, body, and spirit? And that's not what the adversaries do. They do the total opposite. So it's like a lot of people think, well, they can just run off and go to heaven, their so-called heaven, and leave the earth. Just be here to enjoy it, do whatever they want to do, and then just call on a suspicious name and just think that they're going to open their eyes and just be in this heavenly place that exclude the people that they have oppressed and exploited and demised and mistreated. Like if so-called whites and blacks got two different heavens. But to me, as far as I'm concerned, that whole heaven bit, the way that they prescribe it and explain it, doesn't exist. As a matter of fact, our ancient ancestors in along the Nile Valley and certain other parts of the planet actually had places that were considered heaven. As a matter of fact, the great prophecy of Themisius out of Kemet says that I was supposed to read that the other day. But back in the ancient of days, they said that all the cosmic I forgot the exact word that they used, but Kemet in ancient Kemet, especially in Thebes, what they call the Luxor temple, it was a reflection of everything that was cosmic, that with cosmic, what they call cosmology, dealing with the stars and this, that, and the other. Gosh, it's like I'm feeling like nauseated. Like all of a sudden, I got like really hungry. It's like I'm depleting so much out of me. Oh, there's one of my favorite numbers, 222. Oh, that lets me know the ancestors are present as well. Let's see. I'm so glad I gravitated towards something. I mean, I'm so glad I gravitated towards you women. I left Christianity last year after 25 years. I've always known in my spirit something about it was in conflict. Within my heart, the doctrine's tampered. Yes, that's Alex Little. I have had cosmic experiences and supernatural experiences outside of the building, and especially have had things activate with my DNA. Your DNA is powerful at, Alex, the DNA is very powerful, and I believe there's giftings in my spirit that are waiting to be activated and found. Yeah, I can relate to that, but I'm gonna let you all have that conversation because I can just make it a point to share some of my ascensions and experiences. It's amazing. And I have a matter of fact, this picture right here, I don't know if you all gonna be able to see it, but I don't know, have you all ever played this game with Renetta where she used to come on her platform, and she would have like pictures of mountains, and you're supposed to guess to see what you make out of the shapes in the mountains. And I would always call her. I would tell her it's called seek and find. We seek out these different images, and when we find it, what it is that we see with ourselves. Well, I sent her a picture um, of this baptism, my first baptism. And believe me, what's in this picture is basically like my journey. It's like it just showed up. And I don't know if you all going to be able to see it, but once we um, come together, then I can show it to you in the natural. But I'm gonna put it up against the screen, and I'm gonna see if any of you all see anything in it. No, Mm. Now, this is gonna be hard to see because it's not. Uh, yeah, you have to maybe the lighting is not good. But in this picture, it's amazing. Like right here. Wait a minute. Yeah, I had to figure out another way. Okay, well, this is the camera right there. No, y'all ain't gonna be able to see it. And I don't know why this isn't as good. I don't know why that looks so dark. I mean, so well, it still looks kind of bright. I guess it's where I'm sitting because that overhead light is kind of like shining right down um on me. But yeah, in this picture, I'm gonna have to go over this picture because the divine spirit put a lot of tasks in this picture, and it's amazing the things that you can see in this picture, and everything has been confirmed through prophecies that was written by our ancestors, and they all decided to show up at my baptism. And it took the man a month before he sent it to me, brought it to me. There was another picture where actually it's this cat-like creature. I can't tell if it was coming into me or going out of me. But when I saw it, I literally screamed and ran up the street, and the spirit had to stop me. And the spirit had to stop me and let me know I didn't give you the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. So you go back there and you get that picture um, that I'm giving you. So, nevertheless, I'll say that once we see each other in person. Okay, so I'm sleepy, and I know it's really late. I shouldn't be trying to eat anything, but I just dawned on me I haven't had no dinner or anything. I've been doing this a lot to myself, so it must be a spiritual thing. I'm just not desiring to eat, except for until after I finish my program, then I get hungry because I have a tendency to least recognize a weakness that if I eat too much food before I do a program, I will actually get sleepy, and I have what they call, I don't like to claim it. I won't claim it, but I've been diagnosed with narcolepsy. And narcolepsy, if I drink too much water, if I eat just a little bit of food, um, I can literally just go bloop, right out of the blue. So I find it's better that I don't eat anything to trigger the narcolepsy um, until the divine spirit is finished with me doing what I'm supposed to do. So does any, well, I was getting ready because I do a conference call on Sundays where everybody can hear each other's voices. And I was getting ready to say, does anybody have a song, a poem? Yeah, I'm gonna have to switch this over to like I have a Zoom account where I might be enough room to actually get 10 people on the screen because they get everybody get a little bitty box that can go around the screen. So I'm gonna check in that tomorrow and see how many people, because it looks like on average, I might have like 8 of you all that actually sticks around. Like right now, it's just 6. And I think the peak was maybe 11 or 12. But, oof, and those, um, yeah, I'm getting sleepy, but I'm hungry. And I enjoyed the lesson. How about you all? Is something that you think about? You took notes so you can add to your the insight shared when we come back tomorrow. Something that you might can add to in reference to counsel to help one another to stay focused. Because when the test comes with the power, the money, and the fame that could happen, that obviously will happen, but there's a reason why the Spirit had for me to pull out this lesson. Um, so to check ourselves. Ooh, it's getting heavy, y'all. It's getting heavy. Oh, it's getting heavy. Mm. Lady Lotus says, yes, ma'am. Barama Baba, each one teach one. Yes, this is great vibration. Someone called Earth the bad neighborhood of the cosmos. Oh my goodness, really? Everybody has their own opinion. So, you know, sometimes no matter what, you got to make sure you at least smile or laugh at least once a day. So thank you for that and contribute to my laugh for today. The neighborhood of the cosmos, the bad neighborhood of the cosmos. So let's see. Yes, man. So glad you are here at Alex. Ramadan. Okay, my beautiful sisters, daughters, um, mothers, queen mothers, all of that, aspirants. To keep it here humble. Even I am an aspirant for change. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm going to say good night. I'm um, I'm drained, but in a good way. Because when I lay my head and rest, it's going to be a positive rest. And looking forward to the kiss of our Divine Mother awakening us again another day that she has made, and that we can rejoice, be glad in it, be partakers of it. And I'm curious to see how she's going to ordain my steps today. Excuse me. I need to go to the laundromat. I haven't been to the laundromat in so long. But then I always be thinking to myself, wow, I could be doing something else. But everything is piling up, piling up, piling up. But yeah, I'm going to either have to do it tomorrow or Sunday. I actually wanted to go to the return of Nzinga conference that's in Virginia this weekend. Um, yes, Lady Lotus, Divine Evening, Mama and Sisters, yes. Yes, it was a divine evening. I'm full. I'm full of the lesson. And it's always something to consider applying. Yeah, this is great. This was in spite of not being able to utilize the setup that I had and the delay. Um, and the delay with the YouTube, because what I was 45, uh, almost 45 minutes late dealing with the technical issues. But like I said, I appreciate and thank you all for your patience of waiting um on me. Thank you for not giving up. And remember um, that iron sharpens iron. Delicate Lace is not able to sleep. I love Mama Lioness Hadassah. I love you too. Now, Delicate Lace, do I need to read that poem again? That message that the Divine Spirit, because you have the choice um, um, to make a decision if you want to sleep or not. You know, you can't allow situations to keep you from what it is that you need. Um, and there's obstacles that you're dealing with, but it's not for you to neglect what, your rest, your food, or anything that's going to enhance your wellness to keep you with a sound and clear mind. Um, Now, if your partner uh, is keeping you awake, excuse me, if your partner is keeping you awake, the divine spirit is just um, a, a, a prayer and a request away. You live in Chicago. I'm here in Atlanta. But I think there's a sister on the that's either Barama. Somebody lives in Chicago. Um, I was about to laugh. Mama and I are the same age, but I don't mind her being. um, you're in Indy. Oh, I don't know why I thought you was in Chicago, or you just happen to be in Indy now. Oh, I could have sworn you was in Chicago. Delicate Lace. I for sake, I think I got some names confused. And at this time morning, I can't stand Chicago. Delicate Lace. She said she can't stand Chicago. Is in Chicago. A lady, yeah, Barama. Okay, so Delicate Lace, you're in Indiana. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, so Barama, my is in Chicago, but there's somebody else because I was trying to connect you to Barama Baba. Who else did I say that was in Chicago? I could have sworn it was Delicate Lace, but let's see. I can't think right now. It, I get silly when I get sleepy. Okay, so I'm sitting here trying to think um what I'm gonna eat that's not gonna be so heavy. Oh, I guess I could eat me some almond peanut butter and crackers. I like the rice crackers. You know the crackers made out of rice and almonds. Okay, delicate lace. I'm in the 317. My whole 46 years been to Chicago, Ohio, and Kentucky. I actually got family members in Louisville, Louis, Louisville, Kentucky. You ever heard of Louisville, Kentucky? Delicate lace. Night night, mama, and eat and rest well. Yeah, I do need to. This gon' grow. This gon' grow. Oh, yeah. Just tell somebody. Tell a positive sister. Um, each one reach one, so we can teach more. All of us together. I sent out about 15 messages that's in my phone for some women that I felt like would be positive additions. And there was one brother said that he would actually be here. Maybe he got on when he didn't realize I was having issues with the computer. But I'm sure he'll text me tomorrow and say, "Well, I was on there, but I didn't see you. You wasn't on there, so I decided to do whatever." Yes, she is. The water Nelson is in Georgia too, I believe. Yeah, the water. I believe she's in Marietta, and that's one of the things I have to do tomorrow. Is to make the flyer to invite the matriarchs to come together and meet me at the park, kind of like a potluck, but a meet and greet at the same time. Um, I'm going to suggest that people don't bring anything that they cook at home, but just pick something up from the store that like finger food type of stuff until we actually get to know one. You know how women are finicky when it comes to eating other people's food, especially if we don't see you cooking it and just keeping it real. So all of your 129 subscribers should get notifications. Oh, I got 129 prescribers now. I don't even pay attention. I did in the beginning, but in the beginning I was barely able to see 20 or 30. So but I do be looking at the videos when I upload it, and to my surprise, a lot of them got like 200 and something views. But the divine mother, she told me not to be weary of small beginnings. So, and since she's bringing forth the remnant, it's not going to be a whole lot of people. So, let's see. Okay, so I got put on my glass. I see a highlight. I can't make out what it says. Scroll up. You missed my message. Who's that? Alice Little. Okay, scroll up. Let's see. You. Let me see. I don't know where that little thing is that you're supposed to be able to. Let's see. Scroll up. All of your 129 subscribers. You talking about that one? Um. Oh no, Alice Little told me to scroll up. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. What's wrong with this mouse? What's this? It's just that it look like none of us want to leave. Well, I can leave it open if y'all just want to keep chatting. I'm just getting ready to go get me some peanut butter and crackers and some apple juice. And if y'all want to stay on here and continue to talk while I eat my crackers, oh, that's fine with me too. Let's see. But I can't find, Alex told me to scroll up. I see one that you're talking to the water. So you can't excuse me. Um I don't see that little arrow thing. Oh, 'cause I have to do it the old fashioned way. And it's not. Oh, I see. Wait a minute. Something about the cat down the road. As the mom, the cat down the road said, "Go to bed," and you want some tuna and warm milk before your bed. Ow. Thank you, Alice. That's I love when what's his name, Ralph Smart, and he be talking about the cat down the road. Oh my goodness. And he said he wants some warm milk and some tuna. Well, he gonna have to go someplace else for some tuna. You know what I found in my cabinet? And I'm sure that can expire. I actually got a can of those the little sardines. I found one of those in my cabinet, and I said, "Now I know this been up here for some years, because I haven't had no sardines. I know for at least 4 years or 5 years." There's a can of sardines up there. Let's see, delicate lace, right, and some milk. Yuck. Yes, I do live in Chicago. You are very powerful. Uh, can't copy and paste in chat. I noticed that. We need to. And I'm yarning too. Yeah, y'all about to see a different part of me. I'm gonna go, ooh. But okay, I'm gonna go get my peanut butter and crackers and sit here while I eat it. Oh, I'm late. Oh my goodness, I'm really late on my prescription. Uh, oh yeah, I wanted to say some encouraging words before my face um hit the tablet. Um, this is a couple of my proclamations and salutations that I say or that I share. And I wanted to impart, excuse me, impart, impart, and impart. Oh my goodness. Abundance is the truth of existence, and we are intelligence of existence. Our gifts and our talents and our abilities and our love and commitment unto the whole prospers us in ways beyond working for money. And keep in mind, daughters, sisters, We are radiant in the brilliance of the absolute eternal divine mother. And we are an eternal youth of our divine mother as her seed. In every cell, in every fiber of our being resonates with this truth. Therefore, to speak it, believe it, that we may apply it and multiply it. But we are healed and we are healing. We are creative and we are dynamic. We are prosperous and we are generous. We live in the truth and the reality thereof. And in this very moment, in this present time of eternity, we are awakening and preparing for our divine sovereignty, divine destiny, and our purified legacy. And what is for me is for we. Yeah. And what is for we is for me. Okay. So I'm going out, y'all, because it's like I can see my reflection in this camera, this lens, and I'm looking real sleepy and goofy right about now. And see, when I get like that, I'll be stumbling over stuff, trying to get my. You, oh, you know, I bought like this great big old I bought this great big old half a watermelon last week, and it's still sitting in my refrigerator. The thing is so huge and so bulky. I don't even feel like dealing with trying to cut that thing up. And I got it on, I think, last Thursday. So it's been in there for a week. But I keep touching it and looking at it. It's still perfect because I mean it's cut in half because another person got the other half and I paid for the other half, but it's so huge. Now that would have been a good thing, to been able to go inside there and scoop out a couple of chunks of watermelon. That would have been good. Mm. Okay. So you what do I see tears coming from Alex? Uh oh, then I see some happy faces. Oh, you laughing so much that you're crying. Can y'all see my eyes? Where's that camera? I keep looking over here, or I keep looking over here. Oh, I'm looking over here because I'm trying to read the chat, but I don't know why I be looking over here. The camera is actually up there. It's the one that's attached to my um what is this thing? uh Laptop. Yeah. Hmm. Excuse me. What was the joke I missed? Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, everybody in this room is beautiful. In and out. It begins on the inside and it radiates outwards. Yes, it does. Yeah, right. So, looking forward to resuming being consistent. Yeah, the cat down the road. Ooh, well, how he when he's be saying he got when he says something. Oh, let me like reverse that. Yeah, okay. So we ended with fame. So tomorrow is attachments. Tomorrow is attachment, sexuality, desire, and anger. And then the next day, transcending fear, selfishness, false pride, greed. Yeah, I think this is going to be another 4-day lesson. Rest well, Mama. Thank you for your time, attention, and effort. Peace. Okay, so everybody getting ready to depart now. Yeah, I'm just gonna get up and get me something to put on my belly because it's too late to be trying to uh create a meal. I wouldn't mind some oatmeal. That sounds pretty. I might make me a bowl of oatmeal with some cranberries and some raisins, some apples. Chop up some apples. You all like making oatmeal with all the little fruity stuff in it? Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna make right now. I'm gonna make me some oatmeal, chop up some apples, with some cranberries and some raisin. Oh, and some cinnamon, some agave, and my soy butter, and a little bit of coconut milk. Ooh, yeah, that sounds good. Blueberries. Yeah, I like blueberries. Throw what away, Barama Baba? Yummy maple syrup oatmeal. You like maple syrup oatmeal? I don't think I ever had any maple syrup oatmeal before. Mm, mm, Barama Baba, I'm still waiting for you to tell me what you talking about. Throw it away. I used to like cream of wheat. Mm. Oh, somebody must have thought I think she's talking about your week old water. Uh-uh. you think she's talking about the watermelon? It's still in perfect condition. Yes, cream of wheat don't taste like it used to. No, lady loves his Bro, I had a taste for cream of wheat. Oh, for real? Yeah, but I don't have any in there. Because that would have been a real simple thing to make. But I think I'm gonna go in here just do the. I'm gonna have the water. No, I mean I'm gonna have the um. What do you call it? I forgot what we was talking about. Okay, okay, wow. Yeah, I got quite a few things scattered. I don't like to look at clutter, but this little table right here, I'm gonna have to straighten that stuff up in the morning. Yeah, I have to do that in the morning. Okay, I love you all. I'm gonna say good morning. Ain't no sense of saying good night. It's already Friday morning now. But divine rest, and may we have a peaceful one. Alex, I mean delicate lace. I really hope you get you some rest. Utilize that power that's within you. Block out the negativity and focus on the positive. And just know when you rest your head, you're resting your whole body in the hands of the divine spirit. And she says, enter into my rest, and may you find some rest and peace. And may the divine muzzle the mouth that would be anything contrary to that purpose and will. So you can get you some rest, delicate lace. And I hope to talk to you about what we was talking about a few days ago. Yeah, I should make myself available. Um, and then there was a was it Lady Logan? No, I think it was Sister um Sybil. Is Sybil still on here? Okay, so now it's just down to two people. So good night. So I'm gonna go and end it. I don't know why I didn't end this. At least stop the recording, because now people are going to see how sleepy. Yes, I feel it now, Mama. I appreciate this moment with all of you. I'm glad. Thank you. Delicate lace. Now rest in that feeling of goodness and know that the divine got you. Enter into her rest and her embrace. Cause I know I'm getting ready to lay my head down in the hands of the divine. Okay, so I'm getting ready to end the stream.